Alright, hello. So we're gonna do a little bit of training with Miss Foxtrot here. We are at Kids Kingdom in Dublin Park, and you guys are going to get to see setup from the time we get here till the time we leave. So Miss Foxtrot did not want to come out of the car when I had originally got home, and we're gonna have to set up the camera here. Try to do this as hands-free as possible. So I got my trusty little tripod here. She didn't want to come out of the car last time, so my idea was to come to a non-busy-ish location and kind of work with her on her reactivity when she sees people. We're working on a counter conditioning deal where we're basically clicking and treating for silence when she sees other people. There's lots of kids here. Good girl, you can already hear she's barking. But basically what we're going to do is we've got her in the kennel right now. She's on leash. So if she does come out, I'll have a hold of the leash there, and we're going to set her up. Got the windows open, so lots of airflow. It's nice and windy today. But we're just going to work on some counter conditioning and marking and rewarding for, hey, oh my god, I see a person and I'm being quiet, I'm relaxed. And the idea here is to kind of shift her opinion of, hey, you're a scary thing, stay away from me, because that's what she's doing. She barks and growls as a distance increasing behavior. And we are ideally going to start working on changing the idea of, hey, you're scary, to, hey, people means treats are coming, people means fun is coming, people means good stuff, right? Because that's what we want to do to try and boost her confidence, little girl. So I'm not doing anything right now because I'm talking too much, so I'm going to shut up and focus on the dog. But she's watching a kid and the mom, going across the parking lot here. We are at the back of the parking lot because we want to create as much distance as possible between her triggers and give her a safe spot. So that's where we're at right now. So yeah, that's all we're going to do. I'm going to grab a hold of her leash just as a safety. Obviously we want to be safe. We don't want a loose dog, especially ones that's scared, because she could take off. We don't really want that. That's not fun for anybody. So I'll open the door. I'm going to hold on to the leash. If she wants to come out, that's great. That's going to change my plan. I'm thinking she may not want to come out of the kennel at all, just based off of the last time that we took a trip in the car. I had to wait quite a bit to give her space and time to make the choice to come out on her own. With a dog that's scared like this, we don't want to force them to do something that they don't necessarily want, so that we don't force them into a position where they feel like they have to make a choice to escalate their behavior to something that's even more undesirable than barking and growling and just generally not having a good time. Alright, so that's what we're going to do here. But we will change our game here, and I may shift over to the field that's in front of the car on the other side here. Case it just means we're going to be moving. She's been quiet for a few seconds now, so I'm going to go ahead and click and let her know that she's doing good. We'll see if she wants to take that. I got hot dogs and cheese today. She did take that, so that's good. That tells me that she's at least been in the car with me and hanging out. We've been here for a little bit. And she's at least comfortable enough to take food from me. So that's a good indicator that, hey, I have her trust. She's in her safe spot. We're far enough away that hopefully nobody's going to say, oh my god, what a cute dog, because she's adorable and everybody wants to pet cute dogs. But hopefully we won't have anybody crossing her boundary, her little bubble, to where she stops taking food from you. We'll see how this goes. What do you think, girlfriend? Can I have your leash, please? So she's just chilling. Hopefully I've got you guys in the right angle this time. Having to get back into the swing of finding the right angles for you. So we're just going to keep a hold of this leash right here, and I'll have my left hand available to pet her and, give her treats and whatnot. She's got a couple hot dogs in there right now. I'm going to see if she'll take those. Well, she is, so that's great. So here right now, because we are in the parking lot away from the playground, I can see the playground. I see people. I'm sure she can too. There's birds and stuff going on. But the bigger thing here is we've also noted that she is triggered by noises. It's sometimes like people talking spooks her a little bit, and she'll let out a little boof or a growl to let you know, hey, I'm not really cool with this. I'm not comfortable. I don't know what's coming. So there's kids playing, there's adults talking and hanging out with their picnic stuff and everything. So we're just gonna sit and watch. Good girl. So she's looking at me. She's looking to me for, hey, what are we gonna do? And that's good, I like that. So I am going to mark for that because I want her to look to me when she's unsure of something. Good girl. So even though there's nothing actively going on right now, this is pretty cool. You can see she's not leaping to get out of the car or anything. So that's all right. It's not a big deal. It's day, oh gosh, what is today? I think today's Tuesday. It's day 2, no, it's day 3 of Foxtrot's board and train with me. So this is pretty expected, that she's not just leaping out and ready to go. Good girl. So there's kids screaming. I don't know if the audio is going to pick that up with the breeze and everything going on. So I know she can hear that. I know her ears are swiveling around, and I'm just clicking and letting her know that, hey, I like that you're chilling in there even though that this scary noise is happening. Another car pulling in. We're going to see who gets out of there, and she's watching. She saw that car come in. So we'll see, and as soon as I see people, or even if I'm watching her face, I can tell if she's interested in whatever's coming out of that car. And if she sees people, the moment that registers in her body language and I can see that, I'm going to click to let her know that, hey, I like that instant of quietness. And gradually as we continue to work on this, we'll lengthen the duration of time between I see my trigger and letting her know that she's got the right response to it, and then following up with reinforcement. Right now we are so early on in our training that it's pretty quick. Good girl. So I missed that, but she was staring off into the distance. I thought maybe it was a bird. There's a person walking across the field. They're about 50 yards away, but she's watching. Good girl. I like that she looked at me. That's perfect. She's still taking treats, so that's great. So initially, when you're working on behavior modification, kid is really screaming over there. Good girl. Good job. I know, that is terrifying, isn't it? Good girl. Another car just pulled in. She's doing pretty good. This is pretty good. Good job. So the nose is out of the crate. That's good. She's interested in trying to see what's going on. But going back to what I was saying earlier, when you're working on behavior modification for a dog that is scared, for whatever reason, and she only knows that reason in her little doggy brain, you want to try and stay below threshold while you are rebuilding their confidence and trying to introduce these new weird human things to them. And that's why we're here at the back of the parking lot, because we are not ready to be super close to strangers yet, because she doesn't like that yet. It doesn't make her happy. So we'll get there progressively as we continue on through our board and train program. Good girl. So she's just watching people go by. So she's taking both the cheese and the hot dogs right now. Got a whole bag full of them. We're going to try not to burn through them too quick. One of the other reinforcers that I've been using for her, good girl, very good. There's family coming up the walkway here, and we'll see how she does with that. She may very well decide to just sit there and bark and growl and snarl and everything, but stay in the kennel, which is okay. I'd rather that than her lunging on the end of the leash, which is also a behavior that some dogs will exhibit, which is more, good girl, more offensive behavior, but quite a few steps ahead of where she's at right now. So this is good girl, very good. So you see she's looking around, she hears the kids that are coming up. They're about 50 yards away, so that's fine. We're still below threshold. And what I mean by threshold is that, good girl. So that was a little bit of a growl. I don't think the audio is going to pick that one up, but that was very, very quiet. I still clicked as she was growling. That's fine. This is acceptable. Good girl, yes. So you can see I'm just telling her good girl, I'm talking to her in a nice, happy tone, and it grabbed her attention. She looked at me. That tells me that we're still within, good girl, we're still within the bounds of her safe spot. Good job. But the fact that she can look back at me, good girl, Foxtrot, yes, even despite this stuff going on, is really, really good. Very good. What do you think? Foxy, good girl. That is ultimately what I want from her. What we're building towards is she's saying, hey, oh my God, there's people. Good girl. But she'll engage with that and then disengage. So that quick look away was disengagement from her trigger. And I'm going to mark for that because I don't want her to be hyper-focused. An anxious dog, a fearful dog that's hyper-focused on something has propensity to escalate. We don't want her to stay focused on the scary stuff. I want her focused on me. Good girl, Foxtrot, yes. Very good. So we've been working a lot on engage with the trigger, disengage, and then focus on me in the backyard. Good girl. I don't know what that was. That was like somebody playing in on something. Maybe one of the kids is jumping on the bridge. I don't know. But she heard that. She was kind of like, oh, okay, what is this? There's all kinds of stuff going on today. But we are far enough away that she's below threshold and she's able to focus on me. If we were to get closer and get to a point where she's not cool with it and she's not able to turn her attention back to me and hold that focus, then I would say that we are approaching, if not at or beyond her threshold. That's a point where I would decide, hey, let's give her a few minutes or seconds. It depends on the day and what else is going on. We'll allow her the time and ideally the space to try to come back down from, getting riled up. And if she can't, then that's okay. We'll end our session, we'll walk away, we'll get her below threshold again, practice a couple easy stuff and end it on a good note, and we'll switch gears and allow her to decompress from that stressful event, because that's what it is. It's stressful for her. Good girl. Good job. So you can see she's doing pretty good here. So I don't want to push the boundaries too much. I don't do what's called flooding, where we stick the dogs in a situation we know that they don't like and hope that they just get over it. It is a way to do it, but more often than not, the people that I have seen do that because, oh, it's just a dog, oh, they'll get over it, they'll get used to it. That is called flooding, and it can backfire massively on you. We don't want to do that to Foxtrot because she's still very young, she's very impressionable. Every single experience that your dog has is going to color their world for the rest of their life, right? So we want to make sure that we plan it to kind of color her world in a good place so that she can have that confidence and feel safe, right? Because it's all about feeling safe. If she feels safe, she's not going to react. She's going to look to you because she trusts you, and she's just going to be a happy dog, and that's what we want. Good girl. We're just chilling. She's working her nose. The breeze is coming in, so she's smelling whatever. She's smelling all the kids, all the people, whatever they're eating at that picnic table that I can't even see. She knows what it is. Dogs are incredibly attentive. Good girl, yes. So you can see that little lean forward that she did. I don't know what she heard that made her want to lean forward, but I told her, good girl. She's quiet. She looked at me. That's excellent. There's a person behind the camera. I'm going to see if she sees them. Good girl. The car leaving. Yes, very good. Nice breeze going with new smells. All of this could be sensory overload to her, And there's a car that's approaching pretty close. Good girl, yes. Good job. Oops. So I dropped that one, but she's okay with it. So this card's probably about 25 yards away. Let's see what gets out of that. And it doesn't matter who it is, child or human or dog. We'll see if it's a dog. All we're going to do is the moment that trigger becomes visible, because the car itself is not a trigger for her, fortunately, not for this dog. But the people might be. So we'll see, and as soon as that trigger becomes present, that's when we have our window of opportunity and for marking and rewarding. Oh, we're inching out. Do you want to come out? Or are we just going to chill? What are you doing, Foxy girl? I like the chin rest. I like that she's laying down. This tells me that she's not being defensive. She's not ready to run. She feels relatively safe. Good girl. So you can see she turned. She saw that person. Girl, she's still willing to eat treats. That person's walking away and increasing the distance, so that's great. Good girl. Good job. That was a little tiny boof. She's poofing her cheeks out. She's blowing her cheeks out, and that's okay. But the person, as they continue to go away, it's all good. Good job. Yes. So there's a little kid that's coming up. I don't know what car they're going to, but hopefully it's not the truck right next to us. I don't think we're quite ready for that. Good girl. Foxtrot. So I tried unsuccessfully to call her attention there as these people move closer. She has no idea. Good girl. I'm going to try touch contact here while she's below threshold still. See if she'll take that hot dog there. She's really focused on them. And they just went out of sight. They're probably about 30 yards away from us. Good girl. So as soon as the trigger went out of sight, that was a stroller with a baby in it that was crying and babbling, and 2 adults. Good girl. So 2 more people in sight. And we're going to go ahead and mark and reward. Yes. Good job. Good girl. There was a little growling earlier, and that's okay. We got construction workers down the street here. Good job. So right here, right now, good girl. So we're refusing that treat, and that's okay. Yes, good girl. She has choices as this person gets closer. And there's a tiny human. Good girl. But remember, the dog is safe. She's on leash. She's not going anywhere. Good girl. Yes, good job. Are we coming out? That's okay. She has choices. She could choose to come out of her little bubble, her safe bubble, or she could choose to go back in. Hi. What do you think? Good girl. But you see that treat refusal. That tells me that, she's approaching her line for her threshold, the line in the sand. That invisible line of not no return, but hey, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm going to really focus to make sure that they're not going to come any closer to me. Good girl. What do you think, Foxtrot? What do you think? Tail's still down, it's not wagging, so she's not happy. Right now is a point where, yes, good girl. Very good. Good girl. I can indicate that, hey, I have food here. That's great. She takes it. If she doesn't, she didn't take that one. That's okay. She can check it out at her own leisure. Somebody's folding up their, what do you call it? Controller. She's watching intently. That's what she does. Good girl. And watching is okay. And she's not wrong if she decides to bark or growl. She's just doing her little doggy thing, right? But again, we're trying to reinforce very heavily for that quiet sound right there. Hi, how are you? Good. She may bark at you, but we're on a leash. We're just trying to work. Yeah, we're just working on building her confidence up a little bit.
Nicely, girl.
Good girl. Very nice. So very close person. Keeps on walking by. That's perfect. She just had a little boof and a little tiny growl. That wasn't that bad at all. And this whole instance is just demonstrating that, hey, I'm not a threat. You're going to come out. No? You're a good girl. Got another car leaving. Lots going on. This is a lot, and when you set them up for training sessions like this, you really want to, good girl, that car made a funny sound. That's okay. So we're approaching her threshold. She's not taking treats. There's too much going on. That's okay. One of the alternative reinforcers that we've been working on building up is using play as a reinforcer, and using play or tug or fetch. And I like tug because it keeps the dog close to you in hand, and you get to play tug and expend some of that nervous energy that's going on. And it gives her an option to redirect to, as opposed to making her own game of barking and growling and being, silly. Good girl. When she's like this, I won't say calm because she's really not. She's a little tense. I can feel that. She's tense, she's alert, and that's okay. But when she's like this, it would be okay to talk to her. Scratch her on the under the chin or on the shoulder to let her know that you're there, and try to ground her and bring her attention back around to you if you can. If it doesn't work, that's okay. It's more information for you to let you know where she's at mentally. Good girl. Yes, good job. She's really such a sweet girl. I don't know what that was, but that gets a click. Noises that we don't know what it is, it's okay. Knowing that she sometimes will startle with noises, and that we're already in a stacked environment where we're away from home. We're in a brand new to her place, I believe. Good job, good sit. So she sat, so that's a click. That's a different behavior that she's offered that's not barking and growling and being silly. Good girl. Cars are leaving, cars are coming. What do you think? What's going on? Another one for it. We're getting it from all on this today. We got construction over there, we got cars and stuff coming in here, we got kids screaming, we got picnics going, we got all kinds of stuff. But this is what we're going to do for a little bit today. And depending on how the day progresses, we may have another short session later, so long as we don't escalate with this situation to a point where she's super stressed out. If she reaches a point of barking and growling and being super upset, and that's exhausting, right? If that were to happen, what we would do is just change our plans for the rest of the afternoon and move to they're leaving. Good girl. That was a car door that slammed. She decided, hey, I'm more interested in that. That was concerning. So she spat out the hot dog. I don't know if you guys saw that. Good girl. Yes. Good job. So we see people. They're getting out of their car. And it's all gravy. That's it. We don't want to sit here and make a big deal out of it. Even if she started to growl and bark at that lady that walked by, she's like 15 feet away or so behind the camera. Even if she had started doing that, good girl, hi. Little girl looked at us, good girl. Good job. So she's really interested in the dad and the girl that's walking by. Very good. I don't remember if I clicked there. Sometimes it's a subconscious thing, guys. But if I clicked, we want to follow it up with some sort of reinforcement, even if it's just scratching or offering a treat. Even if she doesn't take it, it's fine. Just make sure you try to follow up with it and touch base with where she's at. Good job. See, but they're leaving. Anyway, woman walked by behind the camera. If she had started barking and growling, I can't sit here and be like, oh, bad dog, and shove her back in the crate, because that is stacking more on top of it. It's making an already tense situation more tense, right? And even though it's a normal human reaction to be like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, I need to make my dog shut up, we don't want to increase the stress there by adding more stress, by becoming scary ourselves, right? So I won't do that. You're cheating. You can't just have it. It doesn't work like that. Such a good girl. She's really such a sweetheart. She really, really is. I'm hoping that we get to do enough work like this. Hopefully by the end of her training session, we'll actually be able to get out and about, even in my neighborhood, and have some of my neighbors come up and pet her. Good girl, yes. So that was a lot of engagement for this person that's walking up, and she chose to disengage for whatever reason. She looked towards me. She got a click and a treat for that. Good girl. Good job. That's a little boost, but that's okay. So she disengaged to check something else out. She's back following these people across the parking lot, and this is okay. I'm okay with this. This is totally acceptable. Good girl. See, those are funny noises, huh? So you can see her body posture here. I mean, it's very forward. She's very alert, but her mouth is relaxed. It's not closed. It's not tight. There's another person coming up behind. Yes. Good girl. She saw the trigger. We marked and we rewarded. She ate that treat, and that's good. And now that person is kind of not coming directly for us, so that should help too. If there were a person coming directly towards us and closing that distance, she might start barking and growling and be upset about it, because from her little doggy perspective, that might look intimidating. Good girl. Car door slam totally gets a click and a treat. We're going to wait her out and see if she'll disengage from the trigger. Good girl. Yay. And she did. She looked at her feet. Maybe it was just an adjustment to see if she was on the edge. I don't know. But it counts. It was disengagement from the trigger. We want to reinforce for that. So our job here, though, is just to watch her body language and see how she's doing. There's a little bit of lip licking going on, which can be an indicator that they're nervous. But I'm also giving her string cheese. Oh, this is a string cheese. This is hot dog. She could have something stuck into her teeth, So you got to take the whole picture into account here. So alert, but relaxed mouth. But we're ducking our head and we're constantly watching and we're scanning everything. So that just tells me, good girl. That just tells me that, we need to be a little bit more observant. That is a weird sound coming from that car. Yeah, it is. Do you want to come out? That's a bug. Oh, is it on your face? Oh my goodness. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can't invite her out. Good girl, there's people coming. There's people walking away, and then there's people coming towards us. Good girl. I clicked, so I'm going to offer her a treat. Even though it's been a little bit of time, we'll offer it. See if she'll take it. She didn't take it. It's hot dog. The hot dogs are higher value than the cheese for her. I don't know if she doesn't like the texture. Excuse me. But that's what works for her. Okay. I'm going to see if I can't invite her out despite these triggers. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a wonky view of the girl. You can see that she's adjusting and trying to get a better angle on what's going on. And that's okay. Still pretty relaxed, but you notice her mouth is closed now. She's focusing more intently. Good girl. Very good. Good job. Good girl. Very loud women talking. They're excited to see each other again. Good girl. So I clicked, I offered her the treat. She didn't want it. That's okay. It goes back in the bag. I'm going to see if I can't get her out of the car. It's going to change her view for a little bit so I can reset. And what I'll do is see if I can't juggle everything. I've got a long line and we're going to go to this grassy field on the other side of the car. If she chooses not to come out, that's also not a big deal. Come on. You want to go for a walk? What do you think? If she goes back in the box, totally fine. It's all about her today, right? Like I said, I don't want to force her into a position if it's, even though it's safe for her and I could encourage her to come out of her kennel, it could escalate the situation unnecessarily, and because, you know, we're intentionally practicing, we want to make sure she feels comfortable because it's about building that confidence. What? Eye boogie. See, a little bit of a tail wag while I'm petting her, so that's really good. Hi, good girl. I know, you're super sweet. Do you want to come out? I got her tug rope. So we're out of the box, but we're staying in the car, and that's okay. What do you think? Oh, a little bit of a tail wag there. She's a little interested in the toy. Can I have your paw? Thank you. No, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to get you undone. Yes, good girl. So she's choosing to sit, and that's all right. That's totally fine. That's acceptable. You can't sit shotgun, though. Okay. Good girl. You want to come out? Come on. Yes, good girl. So she comes out, and she's watching the construction crew. They're a distance away, but they've got some equipment that's pretty close. Good girl. I got too much in my hands right now. I'm not going to fumble around too much, but you can see my clicker's ready. If I have an opportunity to mark for a particular situation, like if something loud happens, like, hey, that wasn't very loud, so we're okay with that. But I could mark, but I'm going to be fumbling for treats. Good girl. So she's choosing to back up, and that's fine. Not a big deal. So if we don't get out of the car today, totally fine. We're just going to put that on the list of, you know, our small little baby step goals to reach next time. What do you think? Laying down is a good sign. That lets me know that she's comfortable enough to lay down. But we do want treats. Yes, so that's good. Now, she was interested a little bit in that toy, but I have noted so far, and again, it's still really early on in reward and train, that when we start introducing more triggers, trigger stacking, where it's new environment, new sounds, new smells, new people, and maybe new dogs, or whatever else is going on, that's trigger stacking. But the more triggers that we have, the less interested and able she is to focus on playing tug, which is fine. It's just another thing to note, to let you know where she is kind of mentally. Good girl. But the engagement that she has with me, the looking to me when she's not really sure what's going on, that's increasing a lot. So that shows me that we are making progress, which I'm really happy with. But again, we don't want to ruin all that progress by forcing her to go into a situation that she's not ready for, unless it's absolutely necessary. And it's not. It's all designed for you. What do you think? You want to come out? Come on. Come on, let's go for a walk. Yes, good girl. So no tugging on her leash. She's able to come out. Good job. What do you think? So that means I am going to walk over here to this field. I'm going to throw this stuff down so I can come back and grab the tripod. We're going to stay in view of the car. See, look at all this, guys. All these people and stuff going on. We've got a construction crew over there. And this is going to be where we're going to chill. Nice, pretty little open field. And I don't know if that's a hiking trail or not. We're going to not check that out today, but maybe later. But this will give her time to... Oops! You can't walk under the tripod, baby. That startled her a little bit. Hopefully I won't go out of view of you guys. Come on, baby. Let's go this way. But this way, I can put her on the long line. Oops. Which we have here. And give her a little bit more space to kind of wander around. She can go to the bathroom. She can relax. Wait for you to stop scratching. I know, you're just so itchy. So she's just being observant of whatever else is going on with that construction crew over there. So long line is on, short line is off. Can I have this? You're stepping on it. But this will give you a better idea too, you know, hey, we're not next to our closed little spot anymore. We're a distance away from people to where we're still in our safe zone. But depending on who comes walking through the neighborhood or who comes up through the parking lot here, it'll give you a good indicator or a good display, maybe even of you know, how she actually perceives the situation. If she charges forward, we know we're escalating. If she's walking back and she's like, hey, you know, I don't want any part of this, that's also okay. And that's preferred, actually. I'd rather see a dog choose to back away and avoid confrontation as opposed to moving forward and closing that distance and choosing to escalate the situation. So maybe we get that, maybe we don't, and it's just a nice little potty break before we end our session because we've been here for a little bit now, and that's a good enough time. 20-30 minutes tops in a new situation, as long as she's continuing to show improvement or she's staying the same and she's still able to disengage from the trigger. Yes, good girl! That shake off right there. I love shake offs. It shows you that she could just be doing it because, hey, her collar's itching her. But shake offs are a good sign for you guys to watch out for. It lets you know she's just shaking off the stress, whatever. You know, and remember, this is from the dog's perspective. Whatever she thinks is stressful, whether it's exciting stressful or upsetting stressful, those shake offs let you know that she's dealing with it pretty good. And that's what we want to see. So I'm going to see if I can't get her to play for a little bit. Good girl. See if she'll go potty. She's still interested in taking treats. That's good. But she's sticking pretty close to me, which is also fine. You can see her body language is still very alert. Still got her tail down and pretty tucked, but it's not tucked up all the way under her. So that's all right. Girl. You know, and one thing to point out too, sometimes excessive scratching like that can also be a, trying to think of the word, a displacement behavior, where they're just trying to put that nervous energy into something else. It's not always my collar is itchy, because she doesn't scratch her collar like this at my house. Not too much anymore, not since the first day. So, I mean, that could be an indicator that we're escalating in stress level now that we're outside of the confines of the comfortable, safe car, and now that there is more going on in that construction site. I actually can't hear anything coming from the park anymore, but that doesn't mean that she can't. But she's laying down, which tells me that she feels safe enough. So we'll see if I walk away, if she chooses to come towards me. Good girl. I'm gonna let her know that that's an okay choice, but that also tells me that she'd rather be near me, which is also fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we're gonna walk around and we're gonna see if she'll take some time to sniff and relax a little bit. Oh, you want it because I threw it? Yeah? No? Not so much? All right, come on, let's go walk. remember what's going on, but she's able to walk away from me a little bit. I'm gonna step on her leash. I don't want her to go on that asphalt. She's able and comfortable to walk away from me just a little bit, which is great. Don't get stuck under that tripod, girlfriend. She's sniffing, which is great. That's a good indicator. I'd rather see her sniffing. And she's not sniffing and watching the world at the same time. She is smelling the ground, which is good. If she just had her nose to the ground, but she was constantly keeping her head tilted up and watching everything going around, good girl. That would indicate to me that it could be also a displacement behavior where she's trying to use her body language to communicate to anybody else around her that, hey, you know, I'm minding my own business, leave me alone. Some dogs will do that to try and negate anything else going on. Somebody could come up that trail since the tennis courts are back there, so I do want to keep an eye on that. Good girl, but you can see she's crouched. She's kind of like, what's going on? Birds seem to scare her a little bit. There's a birdhouse over there, there's birds in the trees. But even at my place, my neighborhood has a lot of birds, and she gets startled. They stress her out a bit. Good girl. But she seems comfortable in turning her back to all the noisy stuff going on, which is fantastic. That's a good sign to me. That tells me that she is turning to me because she trusts me. She feels safe focusing on me, and that's good. That's all good. This is good. What do you think? What's going on? Yes. Good job. Good girl. Her tail is relaxing just a little bit. Good girl. You're okay. Oh my goodness. Oh. I really can't tell if that collar's actually itching her or if this is displacement behavior. There's no real way to know for sure except noting that, hey, she doesn't scratch like this at the house when it's a calm, quiet, unchanging environment. Good girl. You can see she's open mouth panting. It's warm, but it's not super hot. It could be because she's getting warm, and dogs, that's how they cool off, by panting. It could be because of the extra stress. Good girl, yes. Good job. So I said yes because my finger wasn't ready on the clicker rate. She was looking at this person walking across the parking lot at a distance, so that was excellent. So yes is my other marker signal. It's that bridge of communication to let her know that she's doing something that I like. Good girl. I could be clicking for her looking up at me. And I tried to do that just then. I was a little bit delayed on that. Good girl. But this isn't too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah. Good girl. But this is okay. I like this a lot. I like seeing this from her because the first time I took her out, she was just pacing all over the place. A lot more anxious than this. She did not want to turn her attention to me at all. She was super, super nervous. So while she's still a bit anxious now, we've gotten ourselves a nice little environment where she's not quite as anxious. We'll see if she notices these kids that are running in the parking lot towards us. They're still at least 50 yards away, but they're not in her line of sight. Because right about here, yes, good girl, should be where she can see. So all of that is going on behind her and out of her peripheral. So whatever she's looking at over here, the birds, construction crew, the wind is moving the trees over there. Good girl. And that darn bird, man, doesn't make any sense. Good girl. I like that she's laying down. If you're going to touch her and pet her, nice calm strokes are ideal. You can scratch if you're gonna scratch, but don't sit here and rough her up and be crazy with it and increase that, what's going on. Don't increase the energy with her. You don't want to increase the energy with a nervous dog because if they are at that line where they're not really sure what's going on and they are ready to escalate, you could be setting them up for failure. We don't want to do that to Miss Foxtrot. You did so good. What do you think? Good girl. Yes. Good job. So you saw that quick look over her shoulder? Is all the noise coming from the construction place? She wants to keep that in her line of sight. She wants to keep tabs on it and make sure that she's aware of what's going on. But she's still coming back to me and checking in for treats, which is really great. And she's turned back to me. She wants to keep an eye on the world. Good girl. Yes. booth. There's a person all the way behind, 50 yards behind the camera. Big hat, so that's a scary looking thing to some dogs because they don't know what hats are, right? They don't know what big coats are or sunglasses or any of that. Good girl. Hi. There's two kids in big flowy bright pink skirts that are walking away, but that wind makes it look funny. So you can hear, I'm going to let her do this for a little bit and see if she chooses to disengage. She might. Good girl. Foxtrot, what are you doing? What's going on? Hi, good girl. Yes, good girl. Small, quick disengagement. I marked for that. I offered her a treat. She doesn't want it. If this small boofing, good girl. So there's a kid and his dad walking towards us. They're probably in this truck right next to us. If they get to a point where she stands up and she is more scared or she gets louder, what we'll do is increase the distance and we'll walk away. Good girl, yes. I'm gonna go ahead and mark for that. So they've stopped decreasing the distance because they've gotten to their car, that's good. You see she's a little bit more alert, she's standing, she's leaning forward, trying to check it out, see, assess the situation. And that's fine. Good girl. I like that disengagement. She's not taking my treats, so we're gonna pet. Good job. We're not barking anymore, which is great. Good girl, yes. That disengagement again. We're gonna pet. You're doing really good. I'm proud of you. And they're still loading up in the car, so that's fine. And she's watching, and that's okay. What are you eating? Grass? Girl. I'm gonna click because she's been quiet and calm and just watching. That's acceptable to me. It's not an escalation of the behavior and it's not her deciding that she needs to be defensive. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. You're sitting on your leash, baby. Good girl. Yes. She's able to turn her back on it so she feels she's comfortable with it, right? And they're mostly out of sight anyhow. There's their door. Good girl. So as soon as she sees that trigger, mark and reward. I really hope we've been in view that whole time. Otherwise, it's going to be really awkward. Hey, good girl. Foxtrot. That ear twitch to listen to me as I said her name. I marked for that. That's okay. Good girl. Yes. Good job. Lady was stepping up into her truck. That got a big rise out of her. I marked for that to let her know that she was doing good. I'm going to drop a treat and see if she can... Sometimes I'll I just call it scatter. I drop treats out in front of the dog to see if I can't get them to pull their attention from up here to down to the ground, because sometimes that can shift their mood and everything. Good girl. So that grabbed her attention, the truck's starting up, that got a click because it got a reaction and she was still quiet. We're capturing the silence, okay? Good girl. Yeah, scattering is good too. You don't always have to hand it to the dog if you're in a situation where it's okay to drop it on the ground, and if she'll take it. I don't like to just drop random food on the ground and leave it for ants and other stuff to come in, because that's not fair to whoever's property you're on at the time. So, but this isn't bad. The truck is left. She's engaged with whatever is on the ground. Maybe she was picking up a treat she dropped, but you can see she's still got that really kind of making herself small body language, and that's okay. So we're approaching to the end of how long I want to be here at this location. We are going to try and walk around a little bit and see if she has to go potty before we get in the car, get some water, and get going to our next adventure. What do you think? Good girl. So she walked off, but I made kissy noises and that completely redirected her attention. She gets a click for that. I love it. She did really good. I'm proud of her. You did super good. Alright, so I'm going to cut the video, save my phone battery a little bit in my space, and let her wander around, see if she's got a potty, and I'll talk to you guys later.